Good evening and welcome to the No Structure podcast. My name is Matt and I'm your host tonight. Tonight we're going to be doing late night best ball drafting. In particular, we'll be doing the big board on Underdog. Appreciate you guys joining. We're going to give people a few minutes to come on in, get settled into the room, and I'm going to go ahead and get a quick link sent out for YouTube, and then we'll get this show on the road. All right, well, if you're here for best ball, then you're in the right place. If you're here for something else, then you may not be in the right place. Once again, my name is Matt, and I'm going to be your host tonight. We're doing big board best ball drafting on Underdog. Real quick, before we get started, let's go ahead and give a shout out to our sponsor. So today's sponsor is Fantasy Fitness. Are you guys ready to dominate your fantasy football leagues? If so, check out Fantasy Fitness. That's www.fantasyfitness.io. So Fantasy Fitness is a web app that provides all sorts of information for those of you playing fantasy football. If you guys just want to get the latest news, Fantasy Fitness has a free news center. They pull in the most 50 recent articles from the 5 major fantasy football platforms: Yahoo, ESPN, CBS Sports, just to name a few. They have player pages for all of the major players out there, NFL players, as well as team profile pages. Each of these pages has a full write-up on the player, includes production, athleticism, team environment, tape, positional competition, coach write-ups, and physical fitness videos as well. Likewise, the team pages have similar kind of breakdowns. You'll have the meta information about the team, whether the team scores well or doesn't score well in passing and rushing, as well as an overall team score for their offensive capabilities. Advanced metrics about every team, whether that's play volume, total production, drives and first downs, efficiency, scoring versus turnovers, success rate, pace of play. All of that information is available for free on Fantasy Fitness. Also includes heat maps of every player and grades them out based on their positional rank for these various categories. If you want to get behind the paywall, Fantasy Fitness offers integrating your rosters for your dynasty leagues and redraft leagues. So you can go to your rosters if you play on FFPC, Sleeper, or on Yahoo. It's going to pull up those rosters. Let me go ahead and just do a quick screen share here. Thought I had that set up, and I made a little bit of a mistake there. So let me go ahead and pull that up. So just taking a quick step back, we have our news center, 50 of the latest articles from the 5 major fantasy platforms, player pages for all the NFL players, breakdown of scores, production, athleticism, team environment, tape, positional competition, coach write-ups, and physical fitness. Likewise, the team profile pages have breakdowns of passing scores versus rushing scores, play volume, production, efficiency, turnovers and scoring, success rate, pace of play, time of possession, and those heat maps that I was speaking to earlier, so you can get additional information about each player on a given team. And then you can go to your individual rosters. If you play on FFPC, Sleeper, or Yahoo, those rosters get integrated directly into the system, and you get a full breakdown of roster metrics. You have access to all the player contracts. You can take individual notes on each player for a given roster, and then those get surfaced up to the top of your roster. Draft notes, general notes for the week, lessons learned, pulling in the prospects. You get a full bird's eye view of your league mates teams, their draft picks, and then you can do some different trade ideas. Trade analyzer, if they send you a trade, if you want to trade away specific players or trade for specific players, or just engage with the AI agent on trade strategies, player values, things of that nature. So that's all available on Fantasy Fitness. They're our sponsor. Appreciate you guys joining. We're going to go ahead and enter into the big board. This is the NFL 2026 pre-draft best ball main event on Underdog. $10 buy-in, $200,000 to first, $100,000 to second, $65,000 to third, so on and so forth. The advancement structure is 3 out of 12 in your first pod. Then you have to be first out of 10 in your second pod, first out of 10 in the last pod, and then you'll make it to the 558 seat final for a chance at the $200,000 and other prizes. So we're going to enter into this draft and get the show on the road. Looks like we just missed the train, but things have been filling up pretty quick, so I don't think this will take too long. While we wait, I guess I'll filibuster a little bit more on Fantasy Fitness, and then we'll get the show on the road. So yeah, if you want to learn about individual player ranks, we have full breakdown, like I said, of their talent score, their team score, and then their overall rank, last year's production versus their career production, both on a raw stats basis and on a per game basis. Players' athleticism, this includes their size, speed score, their explosiveness, their agility, and their 40 time. Also takes a look at their team environment, their opportunity on that team, their competition amongst their the players at their position, their O-line, their quarterback for which they're tethered to, and then the coaching staff, the other players that they'll be competing against, and then a write-up of the coaching staff. You can also compare players to one another. So we can compare Jakobi Meyers to DJ Moore, let's just say. And you'll get a breakdown here of their metadata, their 40 times, their declare year, their college experience in the NFL, what round they were drafted, if they were drafted. Jakobi Meyers was undrafted, but he came out in 2019. And then a breakdown of those fantasy fitness scores, receiving stats on a per game basis, comparison, athleticism comparison, team environment comparison. So yeah, you get that as well. Looks like we're still filling up here, 9 picks away, or 9 people away, I should say. While we wait, I guess, let's go ahead and take a look at one of the drafts we did earlier today. I think that'll be fun to kind of review a team and see how the build came together. So why don't we do that while we wait for this to fill up? Shouldn't be too long, but let's go ahead and open up another tab here. We're going to go ahead and get to, oops, let me just do this. Duplicate. All right, completed. Let's take a look at the last one we did. So this would have been draft 71. I guess it is. We might be off 70, excuse me. All right, let's take a look at this draft. Oops, excuse me. All right, here it is. So we were drafting out of the 2-hole. With this particular draft, we took Gibbs at number 2, followed by Chase Brown, so double RB, anchor, robust RB, whatever you want to call it. I don't care. And then we got to work on the wide receivers, tight ends, and quarterbacks. So after those first two running backs, we went Nico Collins, Colston Loveland at 47, Emeka Egbuka, 5 picks past ADP at 50, Jalen Hurts at 71, Ricky Pearsall at 74, followed by Laporta 95. So now we've got 2 tight ends. Get the stack, get Goff here, and that creates a double stack with Laporta and Gibbs. And then we follow that up with 2 more wide receivers, second year Jaden Higgins out of Iowa State and second year Matthew Golden out of Texas, both of whom had decent, but slightly, I'd say disappointing rookie campaigns, less so for Higgins than Golden. And then we took Rachaad White, free agent, should get a pretty good landing spot next week. Hoping for the best there. Alvin Kamara at 146. And then we finished this up with Jalen McMillan, about 12 picks past ADP, and Njoku, Ray Davis for some insurance, probably the most high-valued handcuff on the board behind James Cook there. And then crazy price here on Hockenson at 194. I don't understand his price. You guys tell me what the deal is with that. If you guys are watching on YouTube, we can engage in the comments. So, definitely try to head over to YouTube if you aren't there, and we can we can engage throughout the draft here. And then we finished it up with Caleb Johnson, Darnell Mooney, who's going to be a free agent, and then Ollie Gordon the second. So when it was all said and done, we ended up with a 2-7-7-4 build here. Jalen Hurts not stacked, but he offers all that rushing upside, good offense. Hopefully the O-line's rebuilt up a little bit from some of the injuries last year. And then, as I mentioned, Goff, Gibbs, and Laporta double stack. That running back room, we started off with those 2 early, and then we didn't come back until pick 143. But when we did that, we got Rachaad White, who, as I said, should be a pretty solid free agent in this upcoming free agency class next week. Alvin Kamara, who's a little bit older and definitely washed between the tackles. I still think he offers that single game upside. He's involved in the passing game. So I like having him here on this team as a 4. And then 3 younger guys. Hopefully Caleb gets some playing time right away. He didn't look good his rookie year, but hoping for a better sophomore campaign. Ray Davis may have some standalone value, but if nothing else, he's probably a very high valued handcuff behind James Cook. And then Ollie Gordon, also some standalone value, but pretty bad team, probably a bad offense. He does offer upside though behind, you could say maybe a fragile player in Achane who's smaller and has had a few concussions in his career. So we have that to, as sort of upside. Not that I'm rooting for any of that, of course, but, we build for it. Wide receivers, we got the Twin Towers in Higgins and Collins, Emeka and Jalen McMillan for the 2 pieces of the Tampa Bay offense, which I'm hoping will positively regress this year. Ricky Pearsall has that high single game upside. Obviously, he needs to stay healthy. I think Matthew Golden has that in his game, although we didn't see it his rookie year. And then we have Darnell Mooney as a late pick. Hopefully he lands somewhere nice in free agency. But the tight end room is really the prize piece of this team. Loveland, Laporta, and Njoku and Hockenson are really strong 4. Typically don't do 4 tight end builds, but when the value is on the board, you got to take it. And so we ended up with 4 tight ends. Let me know what you guys think of this team. This draft is now starting, so we're going to head on over. We'll get a little bit of background music going, and we'll get this show on the road. We ended up in the 6 hole. We've got badges all over the place. Yield Fates is in here. And we've got one guy with no badge, but otherwise should be some good competition. Appreciate you guys being here, and we are going to get this party started. Standard start, Robinson, Gibbs, Nakua. Chase goes for Panther 23-23, takes Taylor, and that's going to drop JSN into our lap at 6. I'm going to go ahead and take that. JSN obviously had a great year, Offensive Player of the Year. I think the big question here is, can Sam Darnold do it again? Can he play like he did this year, 2 years in a row? I guess 3 years in a row, because he did it. He won 14 games last year for the Vikings. So I think he can. I mean, there's a chance JSN could be the 102, the 103 next year. There's also a chance he could go in the back half of the first round or second round. But I like that pick here at 6. Kind of right here in the middle of the board, so we're going to be able to go a lot of different directions with this build. We'll just kind of see what falls to us in each round and take it from there. But JSN at 6, I don't see that really very often at all, so I'm going to take that. Maybe we can get a cool combo in these first 3 rounds. After that, McCaffrey goes, followed by Lamb, and then St. Brown. I've got those 2 flipped in my rankings. Genty, Cook, Achane. Henry gets pulled way up to the 1-2 turn, followed by Jeremiah Love and Justin Jefferson. Again, thanks for joining. You guys are in the No Structure Late Night Best Ball podcast. My name is Matt. I'm your host tonight. We're going to be doing 1 or 2 big board drafts. 2 picks away. We have a falling Hampton, Trey McBride, Malik Neighbors, and Drake London as the next 4. Hampton goes. All right, kind of interesting spot. Neighbors, London, Bowers. We'll just go Neighbors. They're saying maybe ready. Where was it? Sorry. Maybe ready by training camp. Not too worried if he doesn't start the season. Obviously, I would like him to start the season, but it's about week 17 more than anything else, and I think he'll be ready probably 4 or 5 games into the season. You know, should be getting his sea legs back. So we got 2 wide receiver start here. JSN and Malik Neighbors. 7 picks away. Let's get back to the board. Chase Brown, followed by London, Bowers, and Nico. And at the 2-3 turn, Brown goes off, followed by drum roll, please. Pickens. Kenneth Walker III, Bucky Irving. We have a 0 RB build brewing here with Olave, and then we have triple anchor, Taylor, Brown, Jacobs. We're on the clock. It's kind of between Tet and Josh Allen there, but Brees's news wasn't great. He's coming out of, we're hoping he would be leaving the Jets in free agency. They franchise tagged him. It's not going to be easy for him to get out of there this year, so he's probably a Jet. That probably knocks him down a little bit. I have been taking a lot of them. Allen's situation seems pretty clean. He has the OC, who's now the head coach. Just got DJ Moore. Has Shakir. Yes, definitely has some skill position players. He's always putting up, 350 points, something like that. Let's go ahead and look at his production. 412, 410, 385, 374. So if he stays healthy, should be good for 350 to 400 points. That's hard to replace. Plus, he has that massive single game spike week upside, which is what we really look for. Best ball. Okay. 4 picks away. After we took Allen, real quick recap. Hall, Rashee Rice, T. Higgins, Tet McMillan, Kyron. We've got a super anchor build going over here. Loveland, Burden, ETN, Lad McConkey. So all sorts of different builds. We've got 0 RB in the 4 hole, quadruple anchor in the 11 hole, hero RB in the 10. Getting kind of crazy in here. All right, in this list, give me somebody steady, somebody who I trust. JMO's a little too volatile for me. Let's go Emeka Egbuka. Think he's going to have a breakout year, his second year. Looked pretty good early. I trust him more than I trust JMO. Devontae's a little bit older. Same story for Terry. So Emeka's the guy in that range for me. Kind of got a 0 RB, modified 0, whatever you want to call it. I don't get too much into those names. I just like to try to build good teams, relax, and have a good time. For those just joining, this is the No Structure Podcast, late night best ball drafting. My name is Matt. I'm your host. Appreciate y'all being here. Coming up on the 5th round pick 54. This board has kind of forced us into kind of a 0 RB build, I think. To some extent, you've got 2 teams doing quad anchor builds here. That's going to suck up a lot of this early running back capital. So I'm not going to force it and be reaching to stay in structure. That's why we call this the No Structure Podcast. So we're going for the value on the board. I'm looking at guys like Tate, Christian Watson here, Makai Lemon, Brian Thomas, Rome, all these guys. Rome goes, give me the rookie upside in Carnell Tate. Ohio State, wide receiver U. We've got 3 of them. Let's keep the trend going. JSN, Emeka Egbuka, Carnell Tate. This is an Ohio State team for all my Buckeyes fans out there. They want us to do 0 RB, we'll do 0 RB. But I'm gonna go and star up Monty. Not gonna lie about that. Who's going to be that first running back off the board for this team? This is what happens. Hopefully we'll get a faller here. We'll see. We'll see if anybody tries to maintain structure and kind of just keep pushing these wide receivers down. It's going to be interesting. Maybe we get one. All right, well, let's go ahead and take DJ Moore. It's either Moore or Montgomery. Moore gives us the stack. I'm going to go Moore. We're going to turn this into a 0 RB build. We get the stack with Josh Allen. Get him at pick 67. I like that price for Moore. I don't think he's risen as high as he's going to go yet with the news of his trade to Buffalo. So we have we have 5 wide receivers, no running backs, no tight ends. So we have a 1-0-5-0 build so far. Josh Allen stacked up with DJ Moore, and then we have JSN, Offensive Rookie of the Year, Malik Neighbors. Let's stay healthy and get 1,400 yards, Malik Neighbors. Emeka Egbuka, second-year player out of Ohio State. Carnell Tate, rookie out of Ohio State. And that's what we have. Whoops. Scoot back. I don't know why that happened. 4 picks away. All right, it's between Alec Pierce and Harold Fannin. That's tough. I think I'm going to go Harold Fannin. Man, what he did as a 21-year-old rookie last year on a bad team. Now they're clearing the path for him. And Njoku's not coming back. He's a unique prospect in my mind. He's essentially a wide receiver who plays tight end, slot, power slot. I don't know what you want to call it, but the numbers were impressive for his rookie year. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at those. Why can I not spell? Sorry. Harold Fannin. 107 targets as a rookie. I want to say he was 21 years old. I could be wrong about that. 72 receptions as a tight end, 731 yards receiving, and 6 touchdowns. I don't need to tell you that's impressive for you to know that that's impressive. Three away. Two away. Okay. This is either Chuba Hubbard or Tyler Algier. I could go either way, honestly. I like Algier's ability to catch passes. I think he's slightly more involved in the passing game than Chuba Hubbard. Maybe not. Looks like, I mean, not by these raw statistics, but Algier has never had a full workload. He's going to get that opportunity here in free agency. And he's probably the most prized running back in this free agency class. I feel pretty confident about that. So we went ahead and got Tyler Algier as our RB1 on this 0 RB build. It was between him and Chuba. We went Algier. And after this next pick, we'll do a quick recap of the team and kind of see what the strategy is next. But this definitely wasn't extreme 0 RB, but it would certainly be classified as 0 RB. Pick 91 for our first running back. Again, appreciate y'all being here. For those just joining, this is the No Structure podcast presented to you by Fantasy Fitness. My name is Matt. I'm your host tonight. I'm going to be doing 1, likely 2 big board drafts on Underdog. Kind of want to roll the dice here with Jadarian Price. I think that could be cool. Let's do that. Let's go Jadarian Price. He's likely going to get some pretty good draft capital. Notre Dame, he isn't getting all the shine because of Jeremiah Love, and rightfully so. Jeremiah Love is an amazing prospect, but Jadarian Price is an awesome running back in his own right. So we'll get him. We want that rookie upside. As a rookie, too, if he gets the right draft capital, he should get plugged in and get some playing time pretty quickly, which should help minimize some downside risk. That gets us Algier, which we know will be a starter. He could definitely share a backfield. He will share a backfield, but should get a large role in free agency. And then Price here as a rookie with some pretty high draft capital, most likely. Obviously, we don't know yet. I don't want to, say anything with certainty, but that's kind of the talk right now. Let's get this other pick in, and then we'll recap it. Definitely like Godwin here if he makes it back. Sam Darnold could make some sense for the build, for the stack, as does Baker. Love goes. Godwin goes. Yield Fates takes Kincaid. So, you know, there's some interesting players here. Denzel Boston. We've got some rookie upside. I could double stack with Shakir. I don't know. I'm just going to go ahead and take my second quarterback. It feels like a solid pick here. We get a stack. I know it's a few picks ahead of ADP, but there's plenty of uncertainty around all these other players in this range. Could have went with another wide receiver. I mean, certainly, but we've got Sam Darnold. We've got Josh Allen. Josh Allen is stacked up with DJ Moore. Sam Darnold is stacked up with JSN. And then we've got Algier and Jadarian Price, the rookie out of Notre Dame. For our two running backs, wide receivers, JSN, Malik Neighbors, Emeka Egbuka, Cardinal Tate, and the aforementioned DJ Moore. And then Harold Fannin Jr., who did amazing his rookie year on a bad team, trying to get playing time next to David Njoku. Really excited about his sophomore season. And he literally had like Star Wars numbers coming out of Bowling Green. You know, people kind of downplayed that because it was a small school, you know, and you discount it. I understand that. But then he came into the NFL as a 21-year-old rookie and put up 700 yards as a rookie tight end, 72 receptions, 7 touchdowns or something like that. So, yeah, just insane production. Insane. We get Shakir back anyways, so no harm, no foul. Go ahead and grab that double stack. DJ Moore and Khalil Shakir. We'll pass ADP here. That's our double stack with Josh Allen. We get a single stack cooking with Sam Darnold and JSN. There's better pockets of running backs. I thought about Trey Benson here with the fact that Connor's probably on his way out. But Benson hasn't done anything in the NFL, and so I have some reluctance to draft him. I'll take some stabs there, but I just haven't seen it yet. He was a transfer from Oregon to Florida State. He never was able to get 1,000 rushing yards in college, came into the NFL, couldn't usurp Connor, couldn't even play alongside Connor, really. Then he had the meniscus, I think it was, or whatever the injury was last year. So I don't know. There's better value down the board. Doing a lot of drafts helps you learn where all the players sit on the board. Then you can sort of build from the back to the front. I know that's a little cliche. You hear that everywhere, but it's true. If you know where the value pockets are, you can kind of work around those pockets and draft into those strengths. We are 3 picks away. Okay, it's Dobbins or White for me. They're both good picks. White offers a little bit more pass catching upside. He may come back to us. Who knows? He has been climbing, but I'll take Dobbins here at his ADP. 2 picks past ADP. I don't want to go anywhere near the Giants backfield right now. There's all sorts of questions about what they're going to be doing, bringing somebody in. Kenneth Walker. I don't know. ETN, who knows? Tracy could get nuked. Scatabo could get nuked. I'm not touching that right now. There's better times to draft that backfield. It's probably after next week or the draft. Next week for this tournament, the draft obviously for BBM. So no reason to go there. Woody Marks, I think he needs to get a little bit cheaper after the Monty signing. for trade, I should say, sign and trade. I don't know why either of those players are above Rachaad White or Alvin Kamara. I just maybe you can make a case, but I haven't been convinced by my own arguments. Rachaad White goes, and I'm not surprised by that at all. Then we have Kamara. This is an interesting part of the board. Let's go Juwan Johnson. It's either Juwan or Andrews. Kind of got some NFC South stuff cooking here, so let's go Juwan. He's also had a very impressive year last year. Take a quick look at his stats. 102 targets, 77 receptions, 889 receiving yards for Juwan Johnson last year. That's just insane. Little light on the touchdown category, only 3 touchdowns, but otherwise, very impressive season for Juwan Johnson. Like what head coach Moore is doing over there. So let's go ahead and grab ourselves Juwan Johnson at pick 150. I think that's where the value was. We're sitting on a 2-3-6-2 build here. Little light at the running back position. We got to get that figured out, and we will. Okay. 3 picks away. One pick away. It's kind of between Jonathan Brooks and Jerry Jeudy for me here. Brooks has not been healthy, but I'm going to go ahead and add him here to the room. It's close between those two, but we do have 6 wide receivers. Rico Dowdle is a free agent. He's probably not coming back. That probably means this is going to be a Jonathan Brooks, Chuba Hubbard backfield, assuming Brooks' health. Get him a couple picks past ADP. I haven't clicked him a lot, but I'm warming up to him just a little bit. Never saw him as like an elite prospect or anything coming out of Texas, but he is involved in the passing game. That's an area where Chuba Hubbard struggles pretty mightily. So if they split the backfield, anything happens to Chuba, we're gonna roll with Brooks here. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. That's an interesting selection. Vidal goes next, followed by Pat Bryant. Let's get to the board view. How you guys like that? Jerry Jeudy and Theo. Okay. It's pretty clearly Njoku for me here. Hard to pass up on that talent. I know last year wasn't a good year, partially because of Harold Fannin. He's a free agent. We'll see where he ends up, but I feel pretty good about him landing, having a big role regardless of where he lands. They're going to be signing him to a lot of money in free agency. They're going to want him to play. They're going to prioritize him on the offense most likely. So David Njoku at pick 174. Six picks away. Let's get to the board. Feels like a pretty sharp room by all accounts, just the way these builds have kind of gone off. Players available, not a lot of fallers. I feel like this has been a sharp room. It's kind of between Dylan Sampson and Brian Robinson for me here. Torrey Horton's also an option for the stack. Let's go Brian Robinson. Think he's a free agent. Maybe he lands somewhere, really solid like Detroit, Seattle, Denver. Denver's unlikely. I don't really see that, but Detroit, Seattle might be in the cards. Get him as our fifth here. Very interesting running back room, I have to say. Certainly not my favorite. It's been an interesting draft. But this is a Ray Davis-ass team, if I've ever seen one. Get the triple stack. Like that price. See if he makes it back to us. But this is a Ray Davis-ass team. Appreciate y'all being here. This is the No Structure podcast, late night best ball drafting. Again, my name is Matt, and I'm your host tonight. Come on, Ray. Come on, Ray. There he is. Pick 198. Put him in the books. Triple stack Buffalo, folks. Ray Davis, Khalil Shakir, DJ Moore. You just got to let it happen. Two 663 build. Things are coming together. Trust the process. Appreciate everybody stopping by. Late night best ball drafting. Trying to draft a banger. We're in a sharp room. It's been an interesting and challenging draft. I think we're building a pretty decent team. It's not the most aesthetically pleasing team, I'll say that, but very functional, and that's what we're after. They can't all be aesthetically pleasing. Really? Wow. Yeah. Very sharp room. I'm not quadding this up with Keon Coleman. There's not a chance in hell that's going to happen. Can promise you that. Let's go Keenan Allen. Thinking he's going to have a job. I don't think he's retiring. Still had 777 yards last year. Not sure he's coming back to the Chargers, but I do think he's going to play next year. Maybe he ends up in New England. I don't know. We'll see where he ends up. But add him as our 7th. We are 2 picks away. Najee would be interesting. I think he'll certainly be on an NFL roster. Achilles, 8-9 months, so he should be there. Pretty early in the season. If he's not around, guy I kind of like, low ownership play on this team. Little George Holani action, just for fun. I think we'll probably get Holani on the way back. So let's go ahead and grab either Knoll or Vele. Let's grab Vele. They're similar, but both offer more of a floor play. In Vele, I think his role's a little bit more established than Knoll, but I do like the upside of Knoll. I have a crap ton of Knoll, so let's go Vele here at 222. And then let's try to get Holani on this team just for the vibes and the low ownership. Looks like we're going to probably come in with a 2-7-8-3 build here. Did a 0 RB on this one. And this was a sharp room, so interesting team, not the most aesthetically pleasing, but I do think it's functional and fairly well built. You guys can let me know in the comments. If you guys want to be notified for any future drafts, subscribe to us on YouTube at Fantasy Fitness IO. That's the handle or the channel at Fantasy Fitness IO on YouTube and at Fantasy Fit IO on X. You guys will be notified when we're streaming. We're going to be streaming nearly every day between now and the NFL draft. Excuse me, now and the beginning of the NFL season. Screw the NFL draft. Don't take my Holani. That's all I ask. All right, George Holani for the vibes and the stack and the fact that We have no idea what the timetable is on Charbonnet. Got to make that click a little bit. He's low ownership, and there is a legitimate chance that he could be getting some playing time. He's obviously never going to, consolidate down and run the ball 25 times a game, but I think he can spike. All right, let's review the squad. We ended with the 2-7-8-3 build. We went with the best quarterback on the board in Josh Allen, and then paired him up with Sam Darnold. So 2 QBs, little light, but went with the best quarterback on the board, so we can do that. As for the stacks, Josh Allen is stacked up with Ray Davis, DJ Moore, and Khalil Shakir. And Sam Darnold is stacked up with George Holani and JSN. So double stack and triple stack. We got our first running back at pick 91. That was Tyler Algier. Should get a really good contract here in free agency and hopefully get a lot of playing time. I don't think he's been unleashed yet. Excited to see what he does this year in more of a full-time role. Rookie upside in Jadarian Price out of Notre Dame. J.K. Dobbins, free agent at pick 139. Jonathan Brooks, high risk, high reward at 163. Followed up with Brian Robinson, free agent. Hopefully he goes to Detroit or Seattle or somewhere solid like that and gets some good playing time. Ray Davis, high value handcuff, and then George Holani, as I mentioned before, paired up with Darnold. Wide receiver room is solid. JSN, Offensive Player of the Year. Malik Neighbors, Emeka Egbuka, and Carnell Tate, rookie upside, and probably the best wide receiver prospect in this class. That can be argued. He's certainly up there. DJ Moore and Khalil Shakir, Keenan Allen, and Devon Vele. And then solid tight end room here with Harold Fannin, Jawan Johnson, and David Njoku as our third. I like this team. It certainly isn't as aesthetically pleasing as some builds that I've had, but I do think it's entirely functional. It can advance. It has the pieces at 3 out of 4 rooms. And if things break right in this running back room can still be strong. So give me a solid B on this team. Certainly not the best build I've ever had, but solid. Lunch pail. Bring your lunch pail to work. Best ball team. All right. Back into the lobby. We're going to go ahead and do one more big board draft this evening. Appreciate you guys sticking around. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the content. If you are, give me a like on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, or subscribe to the X account. You'll be notified when we do all future streams. Again, we're going to try to stream as often as we can between now and the beginning of the NFL season. That means big board, little board, BBM, time box tournaments, you name it, we're likely doing it. Okay, 9 to go. This will be a good spot for me to plug our advertiser and then take a quick break and then get started with this next draft. So just want to let you know that this episode is sponsored by Fantasy Fitness. We'll go ahead and pull up Fantasy Fitness. So are you guys ready to dominate your fantasy football leagues? If so, check out Fantasy Fitness. Fantasy Fitness pulls in the 50 most recent articles from 5 major fantasy football platforms. Articles are updated 5 times a day, and this is completely free. You can filter by topic, general news, rankings, dynasty leagues news, best ball, DFS. You get player pages that break down all the contract information, ADP, week 16, 17, and 15, 16, and 17 matchups. Once those get released, those are from last year. You get the fantasy fitness scores, recent production, last year's production versus career production, athleticism, team environment, tail of the tape, positional competition, coach write-ups, and fantasy fitness meets physical fitness. You get team write-ups with all sorts of advanced metrics and production metrics about the team, player, heat maps. So that's all stuff that's free behind the paywall. You can integrate your rosters if you play on Dynasty, or Redraft on FFPC, Sleeper, or Yahoo. That all gets pulled in instant, up to the minute roster information. You have your format, your scoring type, the platform that you play on. You get to add on all your notes on a per player basis. Quick notes for the week, draft notes, lessons learned, mistakes you've made over time that you don't want to mistakes that you don't want to make again. As I mentioned, contract information. You get the bird's eye view of your league rosters and league standings. You can initiate trades and engage with an AI agent to help you talk strategy about your team. You can put trades together where you trade away specific players or trade for specific players or analyze trades that are sent to you. That's all behind the paywall. $4, $8, and $12 a month. And that concludes our sponsor, Fantasy Fitness. All right, I'm going to take a quick break to get ready for the second draft. And we will be back in just a minute and get this party started. We are waiting for 5. Again, appreciate you all being here. We'll be back in just a few minutes. All right, we're back. And we are 2 picks away from this, or 2 players away from this draft filling. Let me know if you guys joined. Let me know in the comments. And if you did, we can critique your teams as we go, or do a critique at the end if you guys are in here. All right. Two people away. I need to get thumbnails. If you guys know anybody who can put together some killer thumbnails, let me know in the chat or send me a DM. Get a hold of me somehow. I need thumbnails. Spread the word. All right. We got some cool cats, some names I've seen in here for sure. Everybody's got a badge except for, sorry, Carlson. FK Coolers. Shout out FK Coolers. Looking down the list here. Dave Terry, I think I've seen that name before. I'm sure I've seen most of these names, but FK Coolers is one I know for sure. So shout out there. We got the sticks hole on this one. Which is what we got on the last one. So maybe, yeah, we'll see how it goes. Same spot. All right, Yield Fates is trying to flip the board here. Takes McCaffrey at 2. Gibbs goes 1, I should say, for FK Coolers. Then McCaffrey at 2, followed by Bijan at 3, Puka at 4. Chase at 5. Wow, nice. Well, I'm taking JSN again at no, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to take Amon-Ra St. Brown. We're going to try to mix things up a little bit. Pull him up. Create a different team. Telling me St. Brown can't put up 1,400, 1,500 yards, 1,600 yards? I think he can. Got that single game spike week upside. Put up a 40 burger last year. I think it was against Pittsburgh, if I'm not mistaken. I was like week 16, week 15. You needed that. Sherman needed that. BBM champion last year, Sherman, needed that St. Brown game. Anyways, we're just chilling. We're just here to relax, have a good time, hopefully build a really good squad. We'll just have to see what the board gives us. The goal is to stream nearly every day between now and the start of the NFL season. that's the goal. We want to build the channel. We want to build the following. Engage with the audience as much as possible. So again, I appreciate you guys all being here. Late night best ball drafting on the No Structure podcast. I'm gonna go Derrick Henry. I mean, the big dog's got to eat, right? Let's let the big dog eat. We'll get him at pick 19. Do something a little bit different than the last one in the same draft slot. We're definitely not taking our first running back at pick 91. That happened at pick 19. We reversed those numbers, and we went from 91 to 19. So St. Brown, Derrick Henry, fun start. Kind of see what we get here in this third round. Kind of see. No, we're not going to kind of see, Matt. We are actually going to see. So let's just get that right. Start of the third round. Well, actually, no. Last pick of the second. What's FK Coolers going to do? Goes Bowers at 24. That's a great price. That McCaffrey pick gets Collins. That's not something you're going to really get unless you do exactly what he did. So the strategy is clear. Pull up McCaffrey. He's worth a top 3 pick. And then grab a player you're not otherwise going to get. You know, very infrequently are people moving Nico over to the, pick, I guess, like 17, 16. I guess, it will happen, but infrequently. So the strategy is clear. Wow. They just want to keep beating us. Josh Allen here. All right, we're going to go Brees. The anatomy of a league winner is a player who's been a league winner before. So Brees Hall, he's been there. I think it was 2 or 3 years ago. He had that crazy finish to the season. What was it? So last year he did rush for 1,000 yards, only 4 touchdowns. That's going to be the Achilles heel, unless this offense can turn it around. But in 2023, get those 994 rushing yards and also tacked on 591 receiving yards for a total of 9 touchdowns. That was his 252 season. So this is what we're gunning for. So here we're kind of double anchor running back. We'll see what the rest of this draft, how the rest of this draft comes together, but kind of a fun start. St. Brown, Derrick Henry, and Brees Hall. Brees has all the pass catching chops. Derrick Henry, obviously, much more of just the between the tackles, gets it done. 1,500 yards, 6, 8, 10 touchdowns, 15 touchdowns. We'll see. They're due for some positive regression, I think. They're in Baltimore. Is he going to have a week 17 game like he did against Green Bay in the playoffs next year? The best ball playoffs? Probably not. But that's okay. He could. It's in the range of outcomes. Glad you guys could join us. Or join me, I should say. Let's go, Zay. I haven't got to pick Zay for a little while. Kind of consolidate the bet a little bit here. Get two Baltimore players on that offense. Suck up a lot of that rushing game. Get the lead, premier wide receiver on that team. Really like his profile for best ball. Like it in Dynasty too. If you're playing in those deeper leagues with 3 or 4 flex positions, certainly deserves a spot there. Love this range for wide receivers. Let's see, we are 3 picks away, pick 54. Odunze goes, followed by Scatabo, and then Lamar Jackson. We definitely would have taken that stack there. That being said, I kind of like this divisional correlation. Got Tate on the last one. Certainly like Tate and Makai Lemon, but also like Christian Watson. We got some divisional correlation going here between Detroit and Green Bay. Took me a minute to warm up the Watson, but I do like his profile for best ball. He's just so explosive. Doesn't take much for him to score. Runs away on those deep crossers. Well, I want to say we got DJ Moore in the 70s in the last one. He goes at pick 56 here. So that's feeling like a pretty good pick. Maybe it was in the 60s. Maybe late 60s. Regardless, it's a good price that we got more on in that last one and stacked him up with Josh Allen. Hopefully you guys are having a good Saturday night. It's 11:35 my time, and that's obviously going to go forward an hour. Don't forget tonight's daylight savings if you forgot or were never informed. We're losing an hour tonight. Clocks are turning forward an hour at 2 a.m. 2 a.m. becomes 3 a.m. Damn. Yeah, sucks. All right, I haven't been taking a ton of Marv, but I'm gonna go ahead and scoop him here. Not much past ADP, a few picks past ADP, but want to give him, want to sprinkle him in on some teams. Definitely want him in the portfolio. They did bring in Matt LaFleur, the OC from the Los Angeles Rams, to be the new head coach. He brought in Nathaniel Hackett as the offensive coordinator. That's not that inspiring, I'll be honest. But nonetheless. I'm going to give Marv another chance to kind of break out here. I don't know what the quarterback situation is going to look like down there in Arizona. Doesn't look like Brissett's coming back. They already said they're getting rid of Kyler. He might be on his way to Minnesota. So, man, let's hope for a Marvin Harrison breakout, year 3. Okay, we're 4 picks away. Let's look at the board. All right. Sizing it up. $91 and $102. Yeah. I like Rhamondre here. Also like Fannin. Let's go Rhamondre. It's locked into a role. Pretty good offense, good offensive coordinator. Josh McDaniels. Not sure how good this team is. It's hard to really tell. They didn't play a ton of really good teams last year. They did make it to the Super Bowl. Got to give them credit for that, albeit against the Denver Broncos team that was playing with Jarrett Stidham. They got smoked in the Super Bowl by a superior team in the Seattle Seahawks. So, not sure what to make of New England at this time, but I do think it's a good organization. It's ran well, good coaching, and good player, good roster. So get some Rhamondre here. Zero, 3, 4, 0. Current build structure. We are into the 8th round, coming up on pick 91 here. Interesting way to play the quarterbacks. Kind of challenging when you get here. I imagine we're going to see a little bit of a run on quarterback. See what they leave us. Zero, 3, 4, 0. And we'll recap the team here in just a second. All right, let's go Tucker Kraft at pick 91. Get that first tight end out of the way. I think he's going to be ready for training camp or week 1. At least those are the rumors now. We're a ways away from that, so a lot to come. But he slipped 5 picks past, 5.5 picks past ADP at pick 91 with an ADP of 85.7. So we get that. We consolidate some bets here around Green Bay's offense. The goal is to get a quarterback with this next pick, or Jordan Addison, Bo Nix, or Jordan Love. Jared Goff, I should say. Could be Bo Nix. Any one of these three. They all have one quarterback in front of me, so I don't imagine they'll all take quarterback. Okay. It's easy to take any of these three. I'm going to go Jordan Love. Game theory wise, I'm tempted to go like Knicks or Goff, just because other people may do exactly what I'm doing. But with Amon-Ra St. Brown, I could see somebody going with Goff there. So going off of Goff and getting Love, you know, maybe Love's the guy you need week 17, and it's not. It's probably going to be Goff with St. Brown if that's how it's played out. I'm trying to think through the game theory here. Nothing wrong with Jordan Love here. Nothing wrong with Jordan Love. You get the double stack. I think I stumbled over my words there a little bit. I'm trying to think through the game theory with those quarterbacks there. Can easily see a Goff and St. Brown stack hitting, but if that's not the stack, some people will kind of mix and match the quarterbacks there. So I was trying to think about how to play that, but regardless, we move on. Let me think about that one, and then I'll get back to you. Coming up on pick 115. Not a huge fan of this pocket of wide receivers. Maybe Denzel Boston, Jaden Reed. Not sure I want to triple stack this. I think what I'm going to do is go Dalton Kincaid. I don't take a ton of them. He has fallen a few picks past ADP. He does have that single game upside where he can get close to 100 yards in a game. Just under 5 picks past ADP. And again, that's not the end-all be-all, but I don't care about structure. I'm trying to find good texture in these rooms. This has turned out to be a very balanced build. We're sitting on a 1-3-4-2. Jordan Love, double stacked with Christian Watson and Tucker Kraft. Derrick Henry, Breece Hall, and Ramondre Stevenson as the running backs. St. Brown, Flowers, the aforementioned Watson, and Marvin Harrison as the wide receivers. And then Tucker Kraft and Dalton Kincaid at tight end. Pretty interesting build thus far. We'll check out some of these other builds too. May and Mayfield for Ibuka and Bucky. I'm kind of seeing it. I'm looking at FK Coolers right now. kind of between these three. I'm going to go Matthew Golden. I was a little reluctant to triple stack with Jayden Reed. Getting a slightly cheaper running back, wide receiver here in Golden. He's the first round rookie. Jayden Reed has never really played over 70% of the snaps since he's entered the NFL. That being said, he does offer spike week upside. Excuse me, as does Matthew Golden, although we haven't seen it at the NFL level yet. That gives us our fifth wide receiver, double stack, Christian Watson, Matthew Golden. Excuse me, triple stack, Christian Watson, Matthew Golden, Tucker Kraft with Jordan Love. 8 picks away. Let's look at that FK Coolers team. So he went Gibbs, Irving for his 2 early running backs, and then didn't come back until pick 121 with Trey Benson. There's some wish casting in Trey Benson's ADP, I think. I understand it to an extent, but he hasn't done anything. So there's a lot of wishing. Topez. Goes Tracy for whatever reason, and with that, let's go ahead and grab CJ Stroud. There's some backstacking options. For him, can make kind of a cool room with Schultz maybe as our third. Get a little bit of a stack going with CJ Stroud. This is a light quarterback room, but it could work. Maybe we go with a third later on. We'll see. Sitting now on a 2-3-5-2 build. Jordan Love, triple stacked with Christian Watson, Matthew Golden, and Tucker Kraft. CJ Stroud. No stacks at this current moment. Solid 3 running backs. Derrick Henry, Big Dog's Gotta Eat. Breece Hall, and Ramondre Stevenson. Wide receivers include St. Brown, Zay Flowers, Christian Watson, and Golden, as I mentioned, and then Marvin Harrison Jr. Outside of Tucker Kraft at tight end, we have Dalton Kincaid. We got him at pick 115 with an ADP of 110. All right. Appreciate you guys being here, as always. Building the audience. Doing these late night drafts. Saturday's probably a little slow. Most of you guys are out partying. This is the serious crew. These are the students. These are the ones I respect the most. Dobbins goes, and this one's pretty easy for me. I'll go ahead and grab Rachaad White, pick 150 as our RB4. Makes a ton of sense. 3 of these 4 guys have pass catching chops: White, Stevenson, and Hall. Derrick Henry is just a monster, so he leads the charge. But White as a 4th at pick 150, that's a steal in my mind. I do like Connor, and I did briefly consider James Conner. I don't know what his situation is going to be like. He is a little bit older. Give me a younger, more spry Rachaad White at this stage of their respective careers. And then we will get into these next few picks. It's been a good draft. Appreciate y'all sticking around and watching with me. We're at an hour and 37 minutes. So for everybody that's been here the whole time, much love and appreciation. Hope you guys are enjoying the content. I try to bring it each and every time. If I'm going to log in and I'm going to turn on the lights, I want to bring it. If you guys get into that YouTube stream, you guys can always engage with me in the comments, ask questions, GM, whatever we want to do. Let's make it happen. Four picks away. We'll kind of see how this unfolds. Two picks away. One pick away. All right, we're going to lock it in. Not my favorite player, but someone who's got a really solid role. At least I think they'll have a really solid role. Let's give it up for a really big bonehead in Jerry Jeudy. I'm a Broncos fan, so I have lived through the Jerry Jeudy saga, but he is the number one wide receiver currently. Well, I'll call him the number two wide receiver currently on the Cleveland Browns behind Harold Fannin Jr. He should get a good healthy number of targets. Let's look at what he did last year. I know it's not a great team, but he is our wide receiver 6. That's a pretty good 6. 602 yards, 50 receptions last year. Terrible catch percentage, less than 50%. That's horrible. But the year before that, it was up a little bit. 90 out of 145, 1,200 receiving yards, and 4 touchdowns. So as a wide receiver 6 or 7, it's really hard to argue with Jerry Jeudy. I do like Pat Bryant, but I don't think his volume is nearly as secure unless he, really takes a step forward as a second-year guy. I have been drafting him. Don't get me wrong. I like my Pat Bryant shares, but on this build, I think it made more sense with Jerry. Let's see, where's he at? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Couple guys in mind for this pick. Let you know in just a second. All right, it's either Trey Harris or Kamani Vidal for me. I feel like we have a good solid 4, so I'm going to go with Trey here. That'll get us our 7th. I think this might be a 8 wide receiver room build. Vidal is interesting. We'll see what happens there if he falls. Got a couple other guys in mind. But we went pretty heavy, pretty early at the running back room. So I'm going to kind of piece this room together kind of on the back 50 here. There's some guys that we might be able to scoop. Just thought it made a little bit more sense to get Trey like that, like his profile. Hopefully he kind of gets it figured out here his second year in the league. He is a, he was a later, older player. Sometimes with the older and the younger guys, I don't know, for whatever reason, it takes a little bit more time to get it figured out at the next level. But I do like this room. St. Brown, Flowers, Watson, Harrison, Golden, Judy, Harris. Good texture. Good mix of players. Second year breakouts. Some vets. Some real strong rolls. Heavy target volume. It's a nice mix. Swizzy Tone brings Ray Davis up about, 15 picks ahead of ADP. Is that right? Almost 20. So that's someone who believes in Ray. That last team was a Ray pick, a Ray team. We took him, so we got him in the mid 190s, or early 190s, I think it was. Okay. Don't really understand the Kamani Vidal hate. We get to consolidate our bets too with Trey and then getting Vidal back here at pick 187. That's almost 13 picks past ADP. I don't really understand that. He had a good year. Let's take a quick look at some of his stats. Filled in nicely for Hampton when Hampton went down with the knee injury. I mean, this guy put up almost 643 rushing yards. I can tell you what, Tajay Spears can only dream of doing that. 16 receptions for 136 yards. So not heavily involved in the passing game, but he did rip off like a 65-yarder. He did have a couple longer runs. Didn't get as many touchdowns. Maybe some of that's attributed to, his size and his abilities, but I also put some of that on the O-line. They're getting Rashad Slater back and Joe Alt back this year. So definitely going to see a pretty significant upgrade there at the offensive line position or position group there in Charger land. So that's a boost for Vidal. And if anything happens to Hampton, that's a really big boost. So like him as our fifth. Could stop there maybe with this build, with the way that this build kind of unfolded, but we're going to keep going because we're balling. I think I would have scooped Schultz there. If Schultz would have made it back at 195, would have got a little bit of a stack together. But TJ Hawkinson is one hell of a consolation prize at pick 198. The market can be irrational. I get him going much cheaper than last year. He certainly deserves to go much cheaper than last year with the uncertainty at the quarterback position. But TJ Hawkinson at 198 is certifiably crazy, in my opinion. Top 10, top 15 draft pick. We've seen him put it on tape. He's only 27 or 28 years old, maybe 29. I want to say 28, but still got a couple good years left, man. It's not over for TJ Hawkinson. What are we doing here, folks? Get some divisional correlation between Green Bay and Minnesota. Maybe that's a Week 17 game stack. Consolidate, not consolidate, but get the divisional correlation Also with Detroit, so if it's Detroit, Minnesota week 17, you've got that stack covered as well. So makes a lot of sense. Didn't reach. In fact, we got him almost 9 picks past ADP. That's a sweet, well-textured tight end room. Lots of upside. Can't ask for much more there in the tight end room. I think we're done there. Wide receiver room looks pretty solid as well. Would like to add there. And then probably one more in the running back room or quarterback room. Let's see, I'm going to go ahead and turn off some of that background music. It's been, or maybe we'll just switch to night driving. Let's switch over to night driving. Mellowed out just a little bit more. Get us all ready for bed. All right, we're going to go with Big Naj here. I know he's coming back from the Achilles tear. That's a pretty quick recovery time. It's like 10 months, 9 months. Pretty quick, faster than the ACL tear, although performance is degraded relative to the ACL tear upon return from everything I've read. But Big Naj at 211. I was going to say 108, but then I messed that up. So 211, that gets us our 6th running back. Feeling really good about that room now. Going to come down to a couple other picks here. Have 2 picks left. Kyle Williams, Cooper Kupp. Looking for some upside. Yeah, maybe a little bit more upside, not so much a floor play. Although, kind of fine either way. Kind of looking down the board for some low ownership stabs. Definitely like to get less, one of the less drafted players potentially. All right. Let's go Jalen Noel. Get a little skinny stack cooking up with CJ Stroud here. Didn't really see anything else on the board that was significantly better. I think of these late wide receivers, Noel has as good a chance as anybody to, spike. He's got that kind of spike upside built into him. Can get the stack. Seen some Chargers Houston late season schedule games for whatever reason. Maybe we get that. I don't know. If not, that's fine. Last pick's going to be either running back or could be a late quarterback. I don't know if we have to do that. We could take a chance on like a Kirk Cousins or something if he's there. But we don't have to do that. And so feel good about this running back room. Those first 3, and then Rachaad White. Yeah, just the way it came together, it's got some good texture, good mix of players. Don't have any rookie upside in there, so could definitely throw in like a rookie running back if you wanted to do that, or second-year guy. But I'm not going to force it. I think I'd rather spend my capital Damn, that's a good wide receiver room too. So, see what the board gives us. Damn, man, just be quiet. Just kidding. Yeah, really love the tight end room and the wide receiver room and the textures in those rooms. Little light, obviously, at quarterback. Do I even want to concern myself with? Man, I think Bailey might just be the best pick here. I don't need to overcomplicate things. Could go Ted Hurst, but I've seen it with Bailey. I think he's got an established role. You don't need to draft a rookie on every team. It's not like it's like a prerequisite or something. So, whatever. Sometimes we're not going to have rookies. All right, that does it. That is the squad. Let's recap the team. Maybe a Malachi Fields there or a Ted Hurst, though. I don't think there's anything egregious about going that route. Tez Johnson, sure. Recap the team, and then we're going to call it a night. We're coming up on 2 hours. It's been one hell of a stream. Again, you guys are listening to the No Structure podcast, late night best ball drafting. My name is Matt. I'm the host. We're coming to an end here. I'm going to do a quick recap of the team, give a shout out to our sponsor, and we'll wrap it up. So in this draft, we ended up with a 2-6-9-3 build. Quarterback, Jordan Love and CJ Stroud. Jordan Love is triple stack with Christian Watson, Matthew Golden, and Tucker Kraft, while CJ Stroud is single stack with Jalen Noel. At running back, we have Derrick Henry, Breece Hall, Ramondre Stevenson, Rachaad White, Kamani Vidal, and Najee Harris. Solid mix there, but no rookies. That's okay. Love the wide receiver room. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Zay Flowers, Christian Watson, Marvin Harrison, Matthew Golden, Jerry Jeudy, Trey Harris, Jalen Noel, and Devon Bailey. And then some good texture in the tight end room as well. Tucker Kraft, as we mentioned, stacked up with Love. And then Dalton Kincaid and TJ Hawkinson. Strong in 3 rooms. You could say a little light in the running back room, but I still think it's pretty strong with Love and Stroud. They're locked in. No guesswork there. Real strong wide receiver room and strong tight end room. Running backs are interesting. Overall, I like it. 3 early, 3 late. And yeah, you got all you need there. So I'm going to give this one a B+, maybe even an A-, but yeah, this was definitely a little bit more aesthetically pleasing. You get some solid divisional correlation here between Breece Hall and Ramondre Stevenson, as well as Dalton Kincaid for AFC East. You have the Detroit Lions with St. Brown, Christian Watson, Matthew Golden, and Tucker Kraft and TJ Hawkinson for that NFC North correlation. And then outside of that, we just kind of, throw some other players together. But a nice way to kind of concentrate some bets there with some divisional foes. So let me know what you guys think of the team. Like I said, if you want to follow this channel want to know when we're going to be drafting, it's going to be all the time, but you want to be notified when we're going live, then follow the channel at Fantasy Fitness IO. Again, that's YouTube, and that's at Fantasy Fitness IO. If you're on Twitter or X, then give us a follow at Fantasy Fit IO. Again, I want to give one more quick shout out to the sponsor. This show is sponsored by Fantasy Fitness. Visit Fantasy Fitness at www.fantasyfitness.io. You'll get the latest news. You get to look at all these player profile pages, team profile pages, integrate your rosters if you're playing Dynasty or Redraft, social feed, look at tape, player evaluations or player compare, along with college prospects, exposures on your Dynasty teams or across your Dynasty teams, player exposures, injury reports, you name it, Fantasy Fitness has it. So head over there if you guys want to start dominating your fantasy football leagues. Appreciate you guys tuning in. It's been one hell of a stream. Appreciate you guys staying all night, listening to me rant and ramble. Stop by tomorrow. It's going to be a great stream tomorrow. Hoping to have a guest on and somebody who's been very successful in the best ball community. So we're looking forward to that. Don't want to make any promises. Not sure if our schedules will sync, but definitely trying to get a guest on tomorrow. Otherwise, we'll run the solo pod and we'll do it again. Everybody have a good night. We'll catch you tomorrow. Peace.